Hey guys, Duchess Braids here and welcome back to my channel. So today we have my friend Kanisha here and we're going to be doing some Goddess Knotless Braids. But before we get started, let's talk about what I'm using today. First and foremost, I'm using my wristband today because this is going to shorten my time. And time is of the essence today. We're using a Neat Braids gel, some Rua hair, 18 inches, y'all. This is a part of shortening the length of the time. And some hair from Amazon. I'm going to go ahead and link that for you guys in the description or in the comments. All right. And of course, I'm using my comb, the precision comb that you can find on my website. All right, so quick introduction. I'm doing some Goddess Knotless Braids. You guys have seen this on my page countless times, but today we're gonna talk about how to shorten your time when you're doing these. And first and foremost, I always start with my middle part for any style that I do. However, to shorten your time, you do want to section the hair, and that is very important, is pre-sectioning the hair to make sure that you can zoom through it when you start braiding and stuff. So first and foremost, I did the middle part first, and now I'm going from ear to ear. This is a part of sectioning and a part of how you want your braids to fall. So going from ear to ear is going to section off that front portion so that when you start laying your braids are going to fall a certain way, and it's just easy. So now I'm pre-parting the hair and I'm going in with a Neat Braids gel, and I'm going to get about 3 rows before I hit the tip of her ear. But what I want you guys to know is that this is not the same for every single head. And once you get that in your head, that okay, not every style that I try to mimic from YouTube is gonna look the exact same, because not everyone's head is the same size, the same shape, then you start to understand how styles come about. So for the back of her head, before I even hit the tip of her ear, I'm gonna get 3 rows. But there's some heads I can only get 2 rows, some heads maybe even just 1 row, some heads 4 rows before I hit the tip of her ear. And why do I keep mentioning the tip of her ear? Because that is a great point, because once you hit the tip of her ear, then now you're going from face, from the front of her face to the other front of her face. So the tip of her ear is a great point to mention, because you kind of want that to be a goal point for your first couple rows. So I always kind of do as much as I can fit, but this is typically the height of which my sections are going to be. So that's how I'm able to get 3 sections, because I don't want it to be too small and I don't want it to be too big. So if you guys can eyeball these sections and put them in your head, if you're planning on redoing this style, this is how high I want my sections to be. And then I just go from ear to ear on each end, and now I'm at the tip of her ear and I just move that part straight across. So that is a goal point that you want a line to hit, is the tip of the ear, going from ear to ear. And then I can jump into going from the front side of or temple lobe to the other side. So that are just goal marks, and these again I'm just parting them out and plaiting them out the way so that I can eventually speed through them once I start the braiding process. All right, so now I've kept parting the same size rows until now I'm at the top, and this is when you start kind of curving around. So you do want to lift the hair, you want to move it about, you want to do whatever you need to do to ensure that these are symmetrical parts, that these are parallel parts. And if it's curving, it just needs to curve like the head is curving so that it stays the same length all over. Okay, so now that I've done the back section, I'm gonna line up the front parts to the back section. So now some braiders do this different, they don't really care about lining up, but I do care. So I'm gonna line it up. So I'm gonna part basically from the front of her face to meet up to that part that I did that is right above that part that is at the top tip of her ear. Okay, so then I just join them together and keep going. So for her head, I plan to not have a middle part, so this is purposely planned. So you guys do want to think about that before you get started. Do the client want a middle part or not? She didn't care for a middle part, she cares more for a side part, so that is what I'm ensuring. So I'm going to keep doing these parts, but once I get to the top, I'm also making sure the size hits to where it doesn't end up being a middle part and end up being like 1 row where the middle part would be. So that's how I lined it up, so that when I start braiding, she's gonna have like a side part and she can flip it over. Honestly, she could flip it on either side because it's knotless braids, but I just purposely didn't want to have a middle part option in there. And this is how it looks once I've done pre-parting. This should take you about 20 minutes, guys. So what I noticed at first, I was like, does pre-parting even help? Because it's like, why I gotta pre-part? Like, does it even help with a time frame? And it really does, because once you pre-part it and section it out the way, and once you start getting into braiding, it's just so much easier to already have it pre-partied. So now you just going in and you just do making that one little line. And some people even pre-part the sections itself. So normally at the back, I try to aim for at least like 4 braids at the back. But like I said, not everyone's head is the same. So if I have like one of my nieces or something that I know the back of their nape is a little bit smaller, I probably end up putting like 3 braids back there. And then my second row is always going to be 1 braid more. So if this is 4 braids back here, for sure my second braid, I'm always going to try to push 5 braids in there, just so, because you're doing brick layered braids, so you do want to ensure that the braids on top kind of fall in between the parts, so that once her hair is all down and stuff, you don't really see as much parts and lines and stuff like that. You just kind of want it to be full and not showing a bunch of parts and lines, especially you don't want a big straight part in the middle of the head. So yeah, even though I did do a middle part initially, we didn't even end up really needing it, but y'all know, like, I like to just start with a middle part just because it just helps me like mentally know where everything's at. Especially when I did the ear to ear part, it really ended up being really well. So like I said, so now I'm on the second row, and this braid right here, I intentionally made that line fall in the middle of that first braid at the bottom, and that's so that I can fit in those 5 braids at the top. And because her hair is going up, almost everyone's head is like this, where once it start going up towards the ear, it's a little angled. So it's not that I had it, even though I parted in the middle of that bottom braid, it still is thick enough, it still is full enough, because I do have some extra hair, because going up towards the ear is angled off, so that is more hair in that section. So it's still thick, it still looks full, it still looks like a proportionate size towards compared to all the other braids I've already done at the bottom. All right, so a part of me shortening the time is the length of hair that I'm using. So I told you guys earlier, I'm using the 18-inch Rua, and that's the braiding hair, y'all. So because I know like the curly hair is about 22 inches, 24 inches, so I like to get those longer, but get the braiding hair shorter. So once the braiding hair is shorter, that means the length of me braiding is going to be a shorter length. But then because the curly hair is so long, once I have it at the end, it's going to stretch still and fall like right above, like mid back, but kind of almost right above her butt. So the curly hair is going to give the length, while the braiding hair is going to cut my time frame down of braiding, because it's a shorter length braid. Like I said, y'all could even go as short as 12 inches, especially if you're doing kids hair. Please go shorter, because yeah, that 24-inch hair that we normally use, that we normally go for, is just unnecessary, because y'all are gonna see how full and how beautiful this style turns out once I'm done braiding. And the length is just great for me. Like, some people just really like their hair long, and that's cool, but some people's just like, girl, as long as it's like doesn't look crazy, as long as it's a decent length, like, you know, right above my butt, or, you know, mid back, that's good for some people. And I just thought this was a perfect length. And like I said, I used the 18 inches instead of using like a 20-inch or 24-inch. And they do have the kids braids that is 12 inches long, and then they have 16-inch I think I've seen before. So you guys definitely can go shorter with the braiding hair, but for the length of the curly hair, I would go a little bit longer. Now, the curly hair is normally the most expensive part of this style, because it is human hair. We're not using crochet hair, we're using human hair, so sometimes it could be a little bit pricey. And I do recommend using human hair, because guess what, it's not going to tangle up as much as a crochet hair will. And the crochet hair, just over time, just start looking real bummy. Like, it just start even when it tangles up, it's so hard to get it to untangle. But for human hair, I'm not gonna say it's not going to tangle up. I'm just gonna say like it's easier to detangle. And for me, I used to put mousse in these type of hair, but no, 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 like just don't even try mousse, y'all. I recommend spraying it with water. If water alone can do it, do that. But if water is not really doing it, just mix water and leave-in conditioner, and that should be good for this style. Do not put mousse in it. Mousse in it will loosen the curl, will do all that, but once it dries, it's so tacky and so like crunchy and just not good. Like it just gets too tacky on the hair. So no mousse for this style. I know I've probably said it before in a video or in a video like this, but 100% don't use mousse anymore. Water and leave-in conditioner, and just detangle it with a Denman brush or something, and that should be able to maintain this style. So as I'm braiding it in, guys, I only add maybe about 4 pieces of braiding hair as I'm doing the knotless braids, and then I add about 5 or 6 pieces of the curly hair in each braid. So I add one right at the top as soon as I'm finished doing the adding in all the knotless braids. Like I said, I added in about 4 knotless braids. So once I'm finished adding in all of my knotless braids, then I'll do my first curly hair leave out. And then I just braid down a little bit more, and then I add another one, braid down some more, add another one, you know, keep going. And then I add the final piece, which I'm gonna let hang at the end of the hair. So that's always good. So now I'm at the top of the head, and you guys saw how I kind of curved that part around. So, you know, this doesn't happen too often. Sometimes if you're having a middle part, you don't have to do that, but for sure you do want to curve the part around, pull it out, curve it around. If you have to reverse this video so you can see what I'm talking about, because I kind of jumped over it. I was talking about something else while that was going on. But yeah, I had to curve that middle piece and go around it. And now I'm at the section where she wants her part to be a side part, so I'm all the way on the other side, and I'm gonna bring this braid towards me instead of going on the other side, because she wants a side part on that side of her head. So I get my 3 pieces, my 3 legs, and as soon as I get them in my hand, I start adding hair immediately. I don't turn first and then start adding hair. I know a lot of braiders like to do like 1 or 2 turns before they start adding hair, but I don't. I like to just add it in immediately so that like it looks thick at the top. Like I hate when it has that thin piece of braid and then it start getting bulky because you start adding in hair. I hate that. So, and this is the final look, you guys. So look how full and beautiful it is. Look at the length. Y'all can't tell me this length don't eat. Like she don't, like, come on, y'all can't tell me that is 18-inch braiding hair that I use. I haven't dipped it yet. I haven't even cut the little tips off, y'all. I just went straight into showing y'all. We were in a rush. We've been here for a while, and this is the final look. She's loving it. She's getting ready to go on vacation, and see, it still hit the top of her butt. So now if I had 24 inches hair, it'll probably be past her butt, and not everybody wants that length. So this is, look how pretty the curls are. I'll definitely try to remember to add this to the detail to the description, so you guys could get it. It's hair from Amazon, the curly hair I'm talking about. But like I said, I will also link the braiding hair and the gel I'm using, all that stuff, on the YouTube shopping button. Is going to be right on the video at the bottom left, and you guys can click on that and get a direct link to the products that I'm using. But for the stuff like the braid band and my precision comb, that will be on my website at duchessbraids.com. And yeah, you guys could go check that out and purchase those, because everybody that watched my video faithfully need to have my comb, so y'all can really see how much it helps you guys. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.